Welcome to the Nerd Party.
Welcome back to Houselights, our director discussion show here on the Nerd Party Network. This week, we're continuing The Wing of Predator with the fourth installment, The Predator, from 2018, directed by Shane Black. You might remember him from a movie called Predator. I'm Darren, expendable scientist number 2, Moser, and I'm joined again by my friend, alien dog tamer John Mills, and sequel hook plant Tristan Riddell. We're gonna talk about
wait a second. Am I the
Predator.
scientist who craps his pants because the suit got on him?
Yes.
You can either
Yes,
be
you
that
are.
scientist or the expendable the two men that I noticed were the ones to open it, not the trained
Right,
weapon wielding. It's like no, Bob and Larry, you go open the alien pod. Oh, okay, I don't get paid for this.
By the way, don't put on gloves first. No. Just go right up.
Yeah.
We need to move fast.
Oh
Yes.
man, not since the end of G.I. Joe and or Bumblebee have I seen a shoehorned "we want to start something" at the end of this movie. Oh man, we'll get there, guys. But The Predator. At least there's no colon or a subtext, but it doesn't help much. This is going to be an interesting discussion, guys, because I think overall we don't really care for this movie. I'm just
Wait,
putting
movie?
out the vibes. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. No, I totally prepped for the wrong thing. I listened to Ice Cube's 1992 classic album, The Predator, which I would rather listen to 100 times than watch The Predator directed by Shane Black.
That sounds like a much better time than
All right.
this.
Okay, Darren, I owe you $20 because I thought he was going to mention Ice Cube with after 5 minutes, and you had the under of 5 minutes. So
Listen, I'm the old man of the podcast. I was there when that album was released, gents. Okay, I don't want to hear it. It's a great album too, if anybody's interested.
So, okay, often in this wing, I've noticed we do get to the directors, but we kind of get there after the plot and the main thing. I want to start with the director. I want to start with Shane Black, because I'm looking at this guy's writing and directing list, and okay, it's not a 10 out of 10, but it's got some really good stuff, like writing Lethal Weapon 2. It's got his directorial debut of Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, Iron Man 3. So this guy knows where to put a camera. He knows how to tell a story. I don't know what happened, because this movie, The Predators, is all over the place. Like, it's trying to be so many things, and I don't know. And we try to be positive here on Houselights, and maybe we're going to fail in that tonight. But John.
Oh yes, we will. We're going to fail in that.
Okay. Were you gung ho for another Predator movie when you saw this trailer drop?
Are you kidding? Directed by Shane Black, written by Shane Black and his friend.
On paper.
Oh,
sounds amazing.
Right. And it's like, he's coming back to the franchise, guy who brought you Lethal Weapon and all of this stuff. And he's coming in and he was in the original movie and he knows how to write this type, blah, blah, blah. Oh my gosh, this is amazing. I was so stoked. I actually saw this by good fortune that a friend of the show, Mike Schindler, was in town. And so was Max, who, the elusive Max, who has floated in and out of our collective podcast universes. And I saw it in the movie theater with them. And I didn't love it then. And boy, was I looking forward to rewatching it now to see if my opinion had changed. I didn't have the sense at all that this would waste approximately 2 hours of my life. No. But I'm dedicated. And so I stuck with it. So there you go.
All right. So, well, it's at least a better time with friends at the beginning. Tristan, what about you? I mean, was the Predator hype real in 2018? It looking like it's
in 2018.
Punching up.
I never was never gung ho about Predator. I legitimately the first Predator movie I'd ever seen was Alien versus Predator.
Oh,
That hurts.
okay.
That hurts.
Okay.
Explain some.
Hey.
Yeah.
But no, so I when this came out, 2018 really wasn't that long ago in the
really
grand
wasn't.
scheme of things.
Under 10 years.
And like I was married. I had my first kid was a year old. So I wasn't going to movies that much, as much as I was when I was younger. Like when Predators came out, I had no excuse. Like I should have gone see that. With this one, it missed me. It just completely missed me. Even though I really like Shane Black, because Kiss Kiss Bang Bang is one of my favorite comedies of all time. We're talking like maybe top 10 comedies, if not near the top 10 of my favorite comedies.
I still need to see it. I've never.
Yeah, I haven't seen it either.
I really recommend it. Like this would be Kiss Kiss Bang Bang would be a great palate cleanser for both of you.
I think anything would be a good palate cleanser, but we'll take that under advisement.
But yeah, so this was the first time I watched it, and to be honest with you guys, like I knew John had a hatred for this movie before I watched it, and I knew that this
preconceived disdain, but okay,
yeah. Preconceived disdain. This was panned by critics. It was a huge flop. When it was released, it had a horrible opening weekend, like worse than Tom Cruise's The Mummy, and which really puts it in perspective. But as I was watching it, like as I started, I was just kind of like, this isn't that bad. Like I was watching it, I was just like, this is what I expect from a Shane Black Predator film. Like I was digging the characters. I could even tolerate Olivia Munn, and it was Sterling K. Brown was a fantastic jackass. And I think I got to the point where Predator destroys all those guys in the back of the van.
Yeah, but when he sticks the hand out.
He picks up the severed arm, and severed arm gives the driver a thumbs up, and he's like, "Okay, buddy." I thought that was one of the funniest things I've ever seen. It was so stupid and so silly, but I was like, okay, cool. I know what this movie is now. I know what this movie is, and I now understand why people don't like it, because they don't like the mixing of the genres. But as the movie kept going on, I was like, oh, okay. Like this isn't that funny anymore. Like, oh, this action isn't as good anymore. It's like the CGI was getting worse, the writing was getting worse, the acting was getting worse. Like it lost all that goodwill that it earned with me, and I think it earned more goodwill with me than it did with you guys. But by the end, I was like, man, that's too bad.
Yeah, for me, I this is one that I saw probably on Netflix or somewhere, in the last, well, obviously less than 10 years, but I had completely forgotten like that I had seen it, because I had just not retained. I got a lot of things in my mind, guys, and I don't have room for the Predator. So it all kind of started to come back, but not enough to remember the plot really. And yeah, I'm a little more on your side, Tristan, as far as it had, this movie was a movie of potential. Again, potential of on paper, the director, a lot of the pieces, a decent cast, and
it had 88 million to play with,
which is a chunk of money. And it's not like it made 40 million. Like it wasn't a complete bomb. Like it made 160, which is not to sneeze at. It's just not Predator money. And so, yeah, as this went, it was like, I think you like you said, Tristan, it just kind of unraveled. And I really like how you called out the humor of the thumbs up moment. Cause yes, it's a over the top, stupid humor where you're like, I can't believe I laughed at that, but I still laughed at that. But it was like 75% of the movie that showed up. Like that is not the time to set the tone of what you're getting. You need that way earlier. And I don't know. I almost want to watch this again just to dissect it even more, because like I said, it felt all over the place. Where are we supposed to care about this dad? Are we supposed to feel about the group 2 of losers. Like we kind of do, but they're also not needing a ton of redemption because they're not real. And then at the end, we're just killing government officials left and right. Like they're on the bad side of
brought that up.
Yeah, I kind of noticed that. I'm like, oh, so there's no line. We're just gonna like straight up kill all the blue shirts or whatever we're calling them.
So all the loonies were they were just straight up killing their comrades. They were like killing their brothers in arms. And so like I actually went online afterwards. I was like, okay. And I Googled like, were the people who got slaughtered in the Predator, were they military?
Right.
Were they
Project
mercenaries?
Starfield or whatever? But that's all we knew.
And so
man.
I think like the answer that I got, and I have no idea if this is accurate, was that they're not technically military, but they were used by the military because they're dark ops or secret ops or whatever it's called. Black ops. Thank you. Dark. I said thank you to myself. Black ops. They were black ops used by the DOD. So they might not be military, but we're walking a tightrope here on military killing military just willy nilly. Like people just don't take this phrase too literally to what it has been used to mean lately and in the past, but they were just following orders. Like it could have been Jim Bob, showing up to work like at the DOD, right. And then all of a sudden he gets slaughtered.
Bye, honey. I'm heading off to my secret black side. I can't tell you about it. And then, oh no, did I get killed by an alien? No, I got killed by the one with Tourette's.
Listen, it's the movie is all over the place, and I think that the problem, like both of you talked about, like setting the tone and when this happens, I knew the movie was in trouble from the get-go. At least for somebody like me, because I'm sitting there and it has like that crash and I'm still, the crash happens. I'm like, okay. Like it felt a little too Marvel-y in the beginning where it's like the Predators are chasing each other and tearing the rift in space. And I'm like, I mean, it's one thing to see a spaceship drop them off. And it's another thing to be like, oh, we're dealing with, that type of Borg technology where we're jumping through places. Okay. That seems a little, all right, sure. Let's work with it. But they have the dogfight and it's going down. I'm like, okay, fine. And then like it happens to crash and he's right there. And I'm like, oh, all right, I know where this is going. And I'm going to go ahead and say it, that I think that as a writer director, Shane Black's intent to have, the kid actor, the child character be on the spectrum. I get what he's going for. And it's that, but the thing is, it rankles me because you go all the way back to that sort of 1990s Mercury Rising with Bruce Willis, where it's a cheat to have a kid in that can figure things out that adults can't. And I think that's just, it's such a contrivance, and I don't care for it specifically because it takes like a real world thing. And then it's like, well, this is just a convenience for the plot. And I'm like, it's a MacGuffin that I don't like.
It's also got to be dehumanizing to people who actually have autism.
Right.
And, because
this is like, it's a savant autism. And it's like, but that's not the case.
Just the way that people with autism are portrayed in the media, and then like they're like they said that, like you said, John, it's used as a MacGuffin, and then they try to like put some sugar on top by saying, "Oh, it's the next stage in evolution." I was like, so that means that they're not quite human, Like if you unravel that, it just is not a good look. I think with you mentioning Mercury Rising, I feel like this movie would have fared better if it was made in the 90s.
Oh, for sure.
Oh, definitely.
For sure. Yes.
And I'm not saying like, if it's shot for shot the same movie just released in the 90s. I think if this concept was made in the 90s, it would have been probably a better movie. Like the sensibilities of the time, the technology, the filmmaking trends, everything like that. I feel like Shane Black probably had this idea way back when he was thinking about making his own movie, and he never updated it. And there's been a few movies like that. I think one that really sticks to mind is Ang Lee's movie with oh crap, like the de-aged Will Smith. What was that? What was that movie?
Oh gosh, yeah, Gemini Man.
Gemini Man. Like he wrote that script in the 90s, and you can really tell when you watch it.
And that's a great comparison to draw, specifically because Gemini Man, you watch it, and I did not react as poorly to it as I did to The Predator, but it's one of those things where you stare at it and while you're watching it, you're saying to yourself, the concepts here, if you had just refined this, you had something hidden in here. I think there's also too many characters in this movie.
There are a lot of characters.
Too many characters, too many plots.
It's
too many,
just all
so
over
much
the
going
place.
on.
And if you go back to the first one, what makes the first one work so well? You have a tight-knit group of characters with one mission in and one mission out. It's super straightforward. Yeah. And this movie is not that.
Well, and it's funny upon researching Shane Black and seeing his connection with Predator. Okay, if you didn't know anything about Predator except for the first movie, and I gave you a list of the Predator movies that came out after, which one would you guess was directed by Shane Black, who also did Lethal Weapon? I would guess Predator 2, because it also has Danny Glover and is set in a city, and it seems way more up his alley than this movie. But yeah, I mean, that's just something that struck me. But I think with this, yeah, there's a lot going on. Even the fact that they're like that the parents are divorced and separated, like that's like one more wrinkle onto the story. Like they could just be married and he's deployed. Like, but the fact that they're also separated, like it's like one more thing that is jammed into this plot. Well, let's pivot to some of the characters. So I want to start with Sterling K. Brown, who is bringing it in this movie as the despicable government. It's a very stereotypical role, but I really liked what he brought. I will say, like, my favorite scene in this movie, because it got real and it got smart as a smart villain. And I love, you guys know I love me a smart villain. Wasn't smart the whole time. I mean, his death was.
Yeah, and we'll get to talking about the third act.
But the moment when he tells his men, when I count to 10, shoot the kid's kneecaps out, and I was like, "Oh, you are playing chess, sir, because you just changed the nature of the encounter. Because now it is not you are a hostage; it is like you just changed everything." Now, honestly, it kind of went. It didn't really. I'm not saying I wanted the kids' kneecaps shut out, but I liked that was really interesting.
Yeah. It sounds to me like you were saying they needed to commit to this. They needed to embrace that moment.
But I like make it R.
For him as a character. I liked that moment where I'm like, okay, this guy, because he's for a part of this, he's kind of trying to play the good government agent. And that's when you realize, like, oh no, this guy is just as bad as anybody. Like he's willing to go through anything to get what he wants.
Yes, very true. And that's the frustrating thing is that Brown. He makes me want to like the movie when he's in. I'm like, oh wow, yeah, he's doing great. And it's like, and then I wind up feeling bad for him because I say to myself, he showed up and he was like, I'm in the new Predator movie. I'm going to nail this part. And he sure did. And then it feels like the movie lets him down. And that makes me even angrier at the movie because I'm like, he showed up to work and the rest of you didn't. And you should be ashamed. Go in the corner and think about what you've done because what you've done is bad and this movie is bad and you should feel bad about it. And I'm like Zoidberg. The movie is bad and you should feel bad. But there's even stuff like the kid goes out. Now, credit to Shane Black. This one was not set at Christmas, but at Halloween. So kudos to him. That's growth as a filmmaker. But we're sitting there. It gives
us the moment where he's got the mask on. Like that kind of fit. I'm like, okay, you set that up and that's kind of a payoff.
But that's exactly where I'm going with it is, oh, ha, frat guy throws a thing and the mask defends itself and blows up the house. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, I don't know how I feel about.
The kid just killed someone. and
he
now
just
knows it.
murdered somebody, and everybody's like, "Huh, that silly mask." I'm like, hold on, guys. Like, somebody in the movie, play it for laughs if you want to, but somebody should bring the room back down and be like, guys, somebody's dead. Like, that's the guy's a jerk. Okay, yes, but he just got incinerated and his whole house exploded. And it's almost as if nobody even really pays it any mind afterward. And this is not the movie to do that. And it's just another example of how everything is thrown together. And I'll say I'm not entirely surprised that Frank Decker, who is a longtime writing companion and worked on a lot of projects with Shane Black, prompting so many Fred Decker, sorry, prompting so many bad jokes as Black and Decker, ha ha ha. But if you go back to a movie they worked on, which I think was called Monster Squad back in the 80s, that's a similar sort of thing where there are all of these gags thrown together and there's the rough semblance of a plot. And it's kind of a movie. And this is the same thing where it's like they wrote a bunch of scenes, didn't think about how they really fit together. And then they said, well, we'll just, okay. And then we'll have an ending. And then it's like, I don't know. And since this is a director focused podcast, I'll bring it back around. Anytime there was action on the scene, and especially in the third act, it was straight up just visual mud. There was no sense of where people were in relation to each other. It was like, this guy's firing, this guy's firing, this guy's firing, this guy's shot. I'm like, wait, were they close to where were they a second ago? I had no idea where anybody was. And then all of a sudden they're right next to each other because they needed to be right next to each other. And it bothers me because Shane Black is an accomplished filmmaker. He has made movies that didn't have that problem. And so it's almost like I want to go in and go back in time and like hide in the studio walls, because this feels maybe like it's Studio Notes killed it, where they were like, no, you got to punch this up or you got to put that together.
Maybe. I mean, in looking through, the development, I mean, I saw that a lot of actors were added and then removed for scheduling conflicts, which isn't necessarily bad. Like, scheduling happens, but also it was considering having Edward James Olmos as like a general, and that's kind of like a big name anchor, but you also lost that.
I mean, they shot him. They shot his entire scenes. For
that's right. That's right.
And it was completely cut. I mean, there is a Shane Black cut out there. It's like, it's well over 2 hours. They had to cut 45 minutes from the movie. It didn't test well with test audiences. And so they completely reshot the third act. And that's where you really
that's the
lose me.
Reshot act we got?
Yes, that is the reshot act that we got.
That's what they thought was better.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or doable,
interesting.
I guess. Yeah.
Now, see, the thing is, now I want to see the Shane Black cut. That's not fair.
I want to see it too. I want to see it too. That's the thing, is that like I want to see his original cut, because who knows what it would have looked like, because if they completely reshot the third act, who knows what else they made him cut or trim or reorganize. Like there's I'm sure that there's a reason why this feels like it's overstuffed and has tonal shifts, because think about the original Kingdom of Heaven, the theatrical cut of Kingdom of Heaven.
I've never seen the theatrical cut, because you sent me a copy of Kingdom of Heaven and you said, just watch the director's cut and screw the theatrical cut. And I said, yes, sir. And I paid attention, and the director's cut is freaking amazing and wonderful.
Right. And I have no idea if the Shane Black cut is okay. I have no idea. But it's just like when you see the theatrical cut of Kingdom of Heaven, and it's the first one you see, you're like, this feels kind of rushed, and some of it doesn't make sense. It feels like it was overly edited. And then you realize that there's a Ridley Scott director's cut out there, and it's way longer, way longer, but yet it's beautiful and everything makes sense. Who knows? Who knows?
Well, yeah, I mean, definitely studio, meddling could be a factor. Honestly, the thing I kept thinking of was, for this coming after Predators, which that was an idea, like, and it paid off that idea through and through. They're on a planet, They're, like you knew exactly what that movie was telling you. And it is so polar opposite as far as clarity from what we get in this. This is why even make it a Predator movie? Like it's like, what is it trying to do? Now, I'm not saying everything has to do something different every single time, but why play in that playground is to say the one line at the end that they're, our planet's dying and so they're going to try to, like, we have to have a reason that he pulls the spine out. Like, that kind of felt like a reason, but that's a bad reason to make an entire Predator movie, to tell
and
that.
The amount of guesswork that was in that scene made my eyes roll so hard when they were in the barn between Sterling K. Brown and Olivia Munn. You're just like, what are you basing this on? What data do you have to support this other than their visits are increasing? That's it.
Well, off of 5 data points over several decades.
Yes. Yeah. That's what I was going to say. It was like, well, they came for the first movie and the second movie and boy, there are a whole lot of visits. And I'm like, that's 3 in a few decades. That seems actually pretty sparse, honestly, statistically speaking. And, maybe you're making, yeah.
When again, the Predator is best when you don't see him. Again, in my opinion, like we're before a judge, when you don't see him, when there's mystery, when there's things that we see as an audience member, but the characters don't, and we're trying to put them together. Again, like the end of Predator 2, that wall of skulls did more to engage our imaginations than, the Predator is using the translation matrix and is physically talking to us. I'm like, no, I don't want my Predator talking in English. With like text to Siri or whatever that was. But it's like, no, I don't want that.
I think that what we really want is a Predator version of Hamlet. And the only way that we're going to get that is if they have that translation matrix, and the Predator can do all of the works of Shakespeare. You
haven't read Shakespeare until you've
read it in the original Predator. Yes. I mean, the thing is, going back to the whole characters thing as well, is having as so many overstuffed characters in this and making each character a uniquely, lack of a better word, zany type of character. Oh, hey, we got the guy with Tourette's that's going to say inappropriate sexual things, and the guy that's really neurotic around the girl, and then the other. Like, it's too darn much, and it's really one of those things where, like, I look at it, and I mean, one of the things that they said about this when they were hyping it was they said this takes place between the events of Predator 2 and Predators.
Right.
And I'm like, okay, question mark. I guess I see that, but that in and of itself is weird because, like, I pick up on stuff, but I really don't think they do a good enough job of getting that connective tissue together, of making it clear what happened, like how it ties into Predator 2. Yes, it stands on its own, but if you didn't watch Predator 2, it doesn't really mesh. Like, let's put it this way. It's a franchise movie without the proper franchise support is the way I would put it. And they're trying to make it like this sort of, Marvel connected universe type of thing. But the problem is Predator 2 is so far in the past that most people in the audience haven't seen it or they forgot it. And then Predators didn't exactly light the box office up. It's not like you're releasing, Thor after Captain America and Iron Man. Like, right. There's a bit more accessibility to the way those movies came together because they're so close. They should have approached this as soft reboot and gone from there.
That was the rumor, and I feel like it was potentially in the cards to be a soft reboot or even a full-on reboot of Predator. Like this was like the first encounter of a predator species, and then they do the whole sequel thing and the connected universe crap and everything like that. And because if it's was all the rage, and because of MCU, and it like they got an MCU director, and I think they wanted Arnold Schwarzenegger to have a cameo at the end. I mean, every director has wanted Arnold to make a cameo, but the thing is, with this specific cameo, it would have set up a sequel where he would have been a major player,
right,
in the next one,
right.
So
No,
that
I think
in itself would have been interesting. But yeah, and
I think
oh
you
my
nailed
God,
it.
the ending, how cartoony, and forced was that ending?
Oh, you mean the Marvel stinger that happened before the credits?
Yes.
Yeah, that was the worst. I mean,
he basically looked at the camera and went, "Next time, baby." Like he basically did that.
What a terrible last line is. It looks like I found my new suit. Does it come in a 42 long? Like, I really think that was the moment at which I just wanted to commit vandalism on the screen. I was just like, how dare you? How you just put me through that, and then that's my last line? How dare you, good sir? That, like, I got, that's the point at which probably where I actually got angry walking out of the theater. I was like, you just crossed a line. But, blowing up the frat guy, not crossing a line. All the messy action, not really there yet. Bad line at the end of the movie. Okay, now we're calling it quits.
One thing that really stood out to me, and I know this isn't a big deal, but this, as I noted before, like the CGI gets progressively worse as the movie goes on, almost like they were running it, like they did the CGI work in order, and they were running out of money as it was going along. And one thing that I noticed was, I was like, man, the blood splatter looks terrible. I was like, why does all the blood splatter look really weird and digital and fake? And I was like, oh, it's because it is digital and fake. And the reason why they did that is because even though Shane Black wanted this to be R in the States, the production company knew that they were going to have to censor it in other countries, and they wanted to make it easier to censor by removing the digital blood stains.
I hate that so much. I really hate that so much, because that is such a like a microcosm example of why movies by Boardroom suck, because it's just one more thing you're going to put on the director to sort of like that. That's why, you go back to Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, when we're talking about Tarantino, this, hey, you have to cut this scene to play it in the international market. No, go screw. This is the movie I made. The thing is, talking through it, I'm less angry at Shane Black now. Now I'm just angry at the movie and 20th Century Fox, as opposed to him, because it's, as you talk through it, you're like, oh, now I feel bad for him, because he was probably sitting there, he was being Finchered, and how fitting that it was 20th Century Fox with one of their Alien movie sequels did it to him. Yeah. Ugh. Talk about a fine tradition there. Way to go, guys. Ugh.
Yeah, 20th Century. This is very much 20th Century Fox Finchered him.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, and with like Jake Busey showing up as Sean Keyes, the son of Peter Keyes from Predator 2, which good luck if you figured that out. But, it feels like, like when Jurassic World came out and they're like, oh, let's bring back BD Wong, the scientist you saw for 3 scenes in the first, like, again, it's connective tissue, but like there's that, and there's like Arnold showing up. Like those are two very different ends of the spectrum of what you're getting in a cameo from a previous movie. And nothing against Jake Busey. I think I liked his little role. It was funny. I
was expecting to see more of him. I
thought so too. Yeah. No, this movie was all over the place.
Yes, it was. But in terms of Arnold's appearance, the cameo would have been at the end. He's revealed as the Predator killer, right? That's the cameo they're talking about. He was meant
to be in the pod.
I believe so. That's what I'd heard at one point, that he was supposed to be in the pod.
That Schwarzenegger was going to be in the pod?
Yeah, that is what I had heard back then.
No.
Hey, it may be wrong, but somebody said it to me back then, and so take issue with them.
No, what they do was have Ellen Ripley in the pod.
Now
that would have made even less sense.
Now you're just lying.
I know,
That would have
isn't
made even
weird?
less sense.
Isn't that weird?
That
there was talks of having actually I think they even shot it because they had a stunt woman.
Wait, no, you're not serious.
I am.
Oh my gosh!
I think they even shot it.
That doesn't
that
makes
had a stunt
zero
woman.
sense, Tristan. 0 sense.
Hey, I am just reporting what I read. Who knows if it's accurate? Who knows? Who knows if the person who talked about this online was telling the truth? I mean, they don't just give people websites, but yeah, like they hired us. As far as I know, which could be absolutely false, is that they hired a stunt woman who kind of looks like Sigourney Weaver and put a full-on breathing mask on her face. And you open up the pod and it says Weyland-Yutani on it. And then it opens up, you see Ellen Ripley's aliens haircut or something like that. And then fades to black. And there was another talk of having an adult Newt in there.
Stop.
Or something like that.
Stop talking, Tristan. Just stop.
I swear.
Okay,
I swear I heard that Schwarzenegger was in the mix there.
Like to know where we but I mean, just to know where in this moment.
Shut up. No, it wasn't good.
No.
It was better than this, but that is setting the bar way low, Tristan. Don't you dare
in the middle of this. But no, I just want to know like what has been established in this universe of like Weyland-Yutani. The alien or the Ripley thing makes 0 sense. She is from the future.
It would have to involve time travel. Yeah. Yeah.
No, Tristan. No.
Well, hold on.
That's
all right.
the only way it makes sense.
Don't go all Vulcan high command about time travel there, Darren. But like, we got people tearing holes in space in the beginning of this movie. I think we have to be open to any possibilities here, right?
No, and like you said, John, about that fight, the space fight at the beginning, I felt that too, where I was like, I didn't know what I wanted, but I wanted more of like reboot Battlestar Galactica, where it's like silent and you're seeing it take place at the edge of your vision, and it's just something more spacey. But yeah, this was like Guardians of the Galaxy meets a dogfight. I don't know.
It was MCU.
Yeah.
I
think you really nailed it, John. This is what happens when the MCU has come out and you make a Predator movie.
I mean, Tristan was saying it earlier too, where it's like this was it's hard to remember at this point, but Endgame had not come out yet. So everybody was trying to imitate the MCU at this point, and this movie absolutely reeks of a studio desperate to make that happen. What do we have that we can pull off the shelf? I know, Predators. Let's pull them over and let's make it a thing. And if there is a franchise that is less appropriate for an MCU style treatment than the Predator franchise, it would be the Alien franchise, which are both owned by 20th Century Fox. Take the L, guys. Okay. Like, you had your chance. What you should have done is you should have started releasing some more X-Men movies just to give a big middle finger to Marvel, but you were cowards. You were unwilling to do it. And instead you tried to tack that on to, the Predator, and it's a huge mistake. And I think actually validation of the fact that Predator 2 is in fact a good movie, which I hope you can now realize in retrospect, Tristan, when you've seen a bad Predator movie.
I'm rating this better. I'm rating this more than Predator 2.
I'm gonna drive out to your house and set fire to your car. I'm booking the plane ticket and I'm gonna set fire to your car in the middle of the night. That is
such hot garbage.
It's such compared to this is freaking Citizen Kane. This movie is absolute. This movie doesn't have any right to exist. This movie is an affront to filmmaking. This movie is you say Predator 2 is hot garbage. At least it has a plot. At least it makes sense. What's going on? A to B to C to D. Boom, I'm going through. This movie might as well have been put together like a Tinker Toy set from somebody who thought it was Legos. Like, it just doesn't fit. It doesn't work. Oh, that's nonsense.
Everything you're saying is true. But Predator 2 is worse than that.
No, it would. Okay, see, now you're just trying to make me upset. Now, see, the thing is, now you're just trolling me. There's no way you actually believe that. You know what? No, I'm going to sit in suspense until we get to the ratings, because there is no way on earth you could possibly think that this movie is better than Predator 2. That's scientifically impossible. Yeah, we will see how it goes. And you might have a burning car by the middle of the night. I'm just saying. Might not be me. Might be Darren.
I think my insurance covers vandalism, so yeah, this would.
We're just gonna blame it on the mask that shot up your car, Tristan, because you threw a bad review towards it and did or not a bad review.
The car backfired. It sounded like a gunshot, and the mask shot your car. That's what happened.
Also, like the subplot with the Predator dog that really looked like a Predator head stuck on a dog, which was
the dreadlocks were weird.
Oh man,
I don't understand sci-fi's obsession with that. And this is across the board in sci-fi for the past 100 years. Is that when you go to a planet and you see their animals, they look like they're
like people species. Animals.
Yeah, like you look at a dog, like you look at a Rottweiler, it doesn't have a human head on it.
Right. I mean, it's got two eyes, a mouth, and a nose and ears, like basics, but it is not like. Yeah, it's not like they took a human head and
honestly,
that's Mars Attacks. That's Mars Attacks. Okay.
I hated the way that they grievously injured one of the dogs, and then it became like a puppy. And I was like, that's
after it's basically lobotomized.
Awful.
Yeah.
That's awful, though. Like,
they Wolverine Origins him, man. Wolverine Origins him.
Well, and it never did.
Which was also better.
It never paid off, right? It never like came into the battle. It never helped. It got stuck in the bus at the very end, and then it was gone.
It picked up over a rock at one point.
Okay, well,
so
Well, yeah, it came up at the very, very end.
Yeah, and the Predator threw it or something. Yeah.
It saved the day.
Distracted him long enough for some reason or something.
The special dog saved
yes.
Well, and here's the other thing. Like, okay, I get like, okay, they cut off the Predator's arm with the force field. Cool. Then they have his cut off arm, and he uses it to shoot him with the not only projectile, but the exploding projectile. Okay, you dealt a lot of damage. But then he gets angry and shoots him point blank with bullets. We've been shooting him point blank with bullets for the last hour, and it's done jack all. But now it's like the coup de grace. It's like, what? That doesn't, what?
Well, he
lost all his plot armor. His meter was too low or something. I don't know.
Right? Jeez. Oh my gosh. No, you're right. It's video game thinking.
We've been shooting bullets at this thing, and it like straight up multiple rounds for the majority of the movie, and it's done like, a tiny bit of blood splatter here or there. That's it. And I'm like, what is so that part I was like, that was a crime. I was just so dumb.
Well, even more puzzling when you think about it, honestly, and this gets again to the whole we need to create an MCU franchise sort of thing. But the absolute nonsense idea that this highly advanced yet very barbaric species, one of their own is on the run with this new tech, I guess, so blah blah blah, all that stuff. Why would you come to Earth, a planet that is hideously incapable of entering this fight? You're telling me that Earth is the one place you could have, space rifted yourself to that made any sense to bring this technology to, when they are like, we're not capable of using it really. Like, it doesn't make any sense whatsoever. It actually further confuses the whole plot, because it's like, okay, that Predator came here to give the technology to us, and the other Predator came here to hunt him. And the other Predator came here to hunt him, but kidnaps the kid to bring his genetics in for their planet. And in the same way, they're here because of global warming. Like, what is going on here? You can only have so many motivations for everybody. You can't bring the whole kitchen sink in. Like, it's just glutting the whole thing.
But they did bring the sink, John.
Well, yes, they did. Sink. They did, in fact, bring the sink. And it wasn't a good plan. I didn't care for it. I didn't think it was good.
I mean, even from the get-go of like, here's a fully stocked lab with trophy cases of Predator stuff. Like, it's obvious that, so you're setting the bar of like, hey, we're all about this. We know what's going on. Good thing it landed like 3 clicks away.
But you know what's
clicks.
absolutely mind-numbing for me is you see that trophy case like you're talking about. If you're going to have this whole thing with the secret government agency and all of that, have the decency, okay? The decency for somebody like me who loves conspiracy theories to have them walking by stuff is like, oh my gosh, all of this tech, and you just laid it out there. It's like, oh, no. That was cell phones. We figured them out from there. Like, tie it in to like, that's how we are funding this secret research off the books.
You ever wonder where railguns came from, or something like some sort of tech.
Yeah. So, like household stuff where they're like, oh, we reverse engineered some stuff from this so that we could get the funding off the books so that it would never be cut from, the agency that we report to or something like that. It's a revenue stream, that sort of thing.
Now I just want a scene. It's so dumb. I want Jake Busey, Keys, to have a scene where he's like, let me tell you, my dad, he was like, I'm going to wear a special suit that he can't see me in, and I'm going to freeze him with nuts. The guy was nuts. Like, just like calling out his own dad on the craziness of that plot. I would laugh. I would laugh so hard if that happened.
But that's the thing is you cut down the number of characters, you give that character time in the movie to then tie it together for you. It was like, oh yeah, my dad actually was involved in this. And I happened to see, like, look in one of his files one time. And he was like, well, guess you're part of the crew now, or I have to kill you. And everyone's like, ha, ha, ha. That's funny. He's like, no. My dad wasn't kidding. I had to come and work here or he was going to kill me. Like that sort of thing would have been funny.
Or even a revenge angle. Cause he killed his dad. Like there was nothing. This is like day 5 of The Office. Like but no, I would have liked more of like Keys and Beckett. No, not Beckett. And Taggart as like together. Mm-hmm. But I don't know. There's just too many characters, not enough. And then like all the poignant deaths. Like I'm like, what is okay? Sure.
When the hell was I supposed to care about any of these people? Like seriously, like they have this touching moment where Thomas Jane and
you're told why you should care about these characters. You're not shown though.
Keegan-Michael Key and Thomas Jane is like, oh, they have this touching thing where they kill each other because it's an agreement sort of thing. And I'm like, okay. Like I was just waiting for it to happen. I was like, all right, guys, let's get to the next beat here. Okay, I'm done. I'm done.
This is just, I'm not saying that you're wrong. This is tangential, but like the first time we see Keegan-Michael Key's face, I just started laughing. He didn't even say anything. And we just see him. And I'm like, oh, okay, here we go. Cool. Like,
right. Yeah.
I get to see Keegan for the next 2 hours.
Yeah. I mean, you know what though? I want to ask, because we all agree that like the end of it like just becomes visual mud. I mean, I think that's kind of shocking considering it was Larry Fong was the director of photography on this. Like, it's not just the editing, but like even it didn't look good at the end. And I guess that's because it's all pickup shots and everything like that. But like it does him a disservice because whether you like Zack Snyder's work or not, it's always kind of beautiful. And Larry Fong had a lot to do with that. And
who knows if Larry Fong did the reshoots?
He probably didn't. But that's what I'm saying is it's a disservice to him to do that. It just bugs me because it's like that. Because I don't want his name associated with this movie. If I were Larry Fong, I probably would have seen the final cut of this and be like, Alan Smithy was your director of photography, just to be clear. Like, I don't know.
Make some anagram of the Predator and mix up the letters, and that's the name of the...
You know what? Just change your SAG name to Ice Cube, and then, you've got the best of both possible worlds. There you go. Second Ice Cube reference of the show. You're welcome. Tying it together.
Well, we had an Ice Cube reference at the beginning and one at the end.
Mm-hmm.
This was almost a short episodes, guys, which usually when that happens, it's because either we're all in agreement or the movie is just really, really bad.
Why not both?
Or both. But I'm interested on where these ratings are going to hit. So, John, it was a refresh for you. It was coming back to the material after Predators and that interesting take in 2010. So what are you giving The Predator?
I'm in a generous mood today. I'm in a generous mood. And I'm going to explain the gag that I've had for years, that half a star means you did not accidentally kill anybody on set. So half star is sort of like your baseline to start from. But there were, I'd say, a handful of moments where I was like, oh, yeah, that's not too bad. So this gets a 1. Screw this movie. I'll never watch it again. I never would have watched it again. I remembered every painful moment as I relived it. And it's terrible. And everybody who contributed to this, I either have great sympathy for because it was beyond their control to get away from it, or I have immense disdain for because they created a monstrosity. So 1 star.
All right. Well, Tristan, your first time, only 5 Predator movies, and this is one of them. Where does it rank, and any final thoughts?
There were parts that I really liked. There were parts that really made me laugh and I thought were interesting. And I did like some of the characters, especially some of the loonies. Like I said, there's things that I liked and there's a lot that I didn't. I mean, it completely unraveled as it went on, as we've talked about. I still think it's better than Predator 2, clearly, obviously.
Looking up flights, Tristan. I'm looking up flights.
It's just right there in front of you.
Hold on.
I gave Predator 2 a 2. I'm giving this a 2.5.
Wait, hold on. No, go on, Darren. I'm actually looking up what flights cost because this cannot go unanswered.
Hey, if that gets you to fly into O'Hare, then I think it's worth it.
Ooh, that's right. It is windy. Ugh, I don't know.
Well, yeah, like I said, this was one of those movies that upon rewatching, I did realize I watched Once Upon a Time, but I'd completely forgotten because there's much better cinema to absorb my mind. And yeah, I think we've said it all. It unraveled. There was a lot of potential, and that was the most disappointing part. Is like on paper, you got this director, you got a lot of these great actors, and it just did not come together. And we'll see why. It would be definitely a couple more years before we got another movie. I'm giving it a 2. I was going between 1 and 2. I'm giving it a 2 because there are funny moments. It's not something like I literally had to like turn this movie off. Like it takes a lot for me to give a 1, which is worse than Predator 2, John. That's a lower ranking.
You know what?
Predator 2.
And the thing is, flights are 2. You're lucky, Tristan, because I just looked up flights on Expedia. It would cost me more than $700 for a one day trip. So you're lucky this time, but I will remember this. I will remember this, and I will have revenge. Darren, if I manage to fly out there, we'll do the Predator handshake at the beginning because you at least have a head on your shoulders.
Is that cutting off our hands when we throw the throwing star? Like, what is the Predator handshake?
Well, now, thanks to this movie, we will cut off our arms and have our thumbs in the thumbs up position and just stick it out from around the corner.
There you go.
Yeah.
Crash and burn. If you get that reference, that's a good thing. All right. Well, one more installment in the Predator franchise, Wing of Predator. Another interesting take as we're going to be discussing 2022's Prey, not the word Predator, next week here on Houselights.
Join the revolution. Join the Nerd Party.